Have you ever noticed how sometimes the smallest, most ordinary events can transform into moments we never forget? That is exactly what happened to me one day in Japan. At first, it was just another ordinary afternoon. My wife Aya and I had been married for some time, and together we were living in my hometown, sharing the same house where I had grown up, now with my father. Life was simple, but it was also full of meaning. Each day, I felt grateful for the chance to spend time with the people who mattered most to me. Aya has always been someone special in my life. We had known each other since we were children, growing up side by side. Over the years, our friendship blossomed into love and eventually into the partnership of marriage. What made it even more precious was Aya's kindness. She carried a gentleness that comforted me after long days, and her encouragement often gave me the strength to push forward in both work and life. Living with her felt like having a steady flame that warmed every corner of my days. That afternoon, it was peaceful, ordinary, yet comforting. And then, almost without warning, the sky began to shift. Clouds gathered and darkened, as though the heavens were preparing a surprise. Within minutes, a sudden downpour arrived, quick, heavy, and refreshing. At first, our reaction was practical. We rushed outside to bring in the clothes hanging on the line before they became soaked. In the hurry, laughter spilled out between us. There was something playful about trying to beat the rain, gathering shirts and sheets as droplets fell faster and faster. It was chaotic, yet joyful. But what surprised me wasn't just the rain itself. It was what the rain stirred inside of me. As the drops touched my skin, memories began to rise. I remembered running through the streets of my neighborhood as a child, with Ueha not far behind, both of us splashing through puddles, our clothes drenched, but our spirits light. Back then, rain was never an inconvenience. It was an invitation, a chance to play, to be free, to let go of worries that only adults seem to carry. Standing there in the present, I realized how far we had come from those childhood days. And yet, in that moment, the rain felt like a bridge connecting who we once were with who we had become. It reminded me that no matter how old we are, there is still space for joy, for wonder, and for the kind of laughter that comes from the heart. This sudden rain was no ordinary weather. It carried with it an invitation to pause, to feel, and to reconnect not just with memories, but with the essence of living itself. Something shifted in me then. For so long, rain had been nothing more than a practical concern, something to avoid, so we wouldn't get wet on the way to work, or something that disrupted carefully made plans. Yet here it was again, calling me back to a time when rain meant freedom, adventure, and pure happiness. Aya noticed my hesitation. She tilted her head with a knowing smile, the kind that spoke without words. It was almost as if she could hear the same memory whispering inside her heart. Without needing to explain, we both understood. Instead of retreating indoors, we took a step forward, away from the shelter of the roof and into the curtain of falling rain. At first, the sensation was startling. The cold water slid across my skin, soaking through my clothes. But as the seconds passed, that shock faded and was replaced by something else, exhilaration. I looked over at Aya, and she was laughing, her arms outstretched, her face lifted toward the sky. In that moment, she wasn't just my wife. She was the girl I had grown up with, a friend who had once dared me to splash through puddles, the companion who had always carried lightness in her heart. We moved together like children again, running a few playful steps, spinning slowly, letting the raindrops wash away the stiffness of adulthood. I could feel layers of worry peeling off responsibilities, deadlines, expectations, all dissolving into the rhythm of the falling water. For the first time in a long time, we weren't thinking about what needed to be done next. We weren't measuring time or planning ahead. We were simply being. The sound of the rain filled the air, steady and powerful, like nature's own song. And as Aya and I laughed together, something deep inside me stirred. It was a realization, quiet yet undeniable. Joy does not always come from grand achievements or perfect plans. I know that the rain itself was not extraordinary. What made it unforgettable was the way it reminded us of who we were and who we still could be. It reminded us that life is not just about moving forward or growing older, but also about holding on to the sparks of wonder that keep us alive inside. By the time we finally returned indoors, with laughter, the house felt warmer than ever. Something had changed, not in a dramatic or loud way, but in a gentle, lasting one. We had been reminded of something we had almost forgotten, the simple, timeless joy of being alive, together. Life often slips into routine work, chores, responsibilities, until days blur together and childlike wonder fades. That sudden rain reminded me joy never disappears. It hides, waiting for us to notice. Playing in the storm with Aya wasn't about the rain itself, but about pausing, reconnecting, and embracing freedom. Happiness isn't found in distant goals, but in small, ordinary moments. A smile, warm tea, raindrops on the roof. Love, too, flows like rain. It thrives when nurtured through shared experiences. That day, I realized joy is always within reach, if only we slow down, open our hearts, and let life in. The next morning, the sky was clear. Sunlight streamed through the windows, glistening on leaves that were still heavy with drops from the night before. The air smelled fresh, like the whole town had been washed clean. I felt lighter too, not because the rain had gone, but because of what it had left behind in my heart. For a moment, we realized then that sudden rain is more than a fleeting event. It is a mirror that reflects how we choose to live. We can either see it as an interruption, something to run from, or we can embrace it as a gift, an opportunity to rediscover what truly matters. Joy is not something we chase after. It is something we allow. And when we allow it, we not only feel happier ourselves, but we also strengthen the bonds with the people around us. Aya and I grew closer that day, not because of something extraordinary, but because we allowed ourselves to be present in an ordinary moment. That is something anyone can do. Think about it. When was the last time you paused to enjoy something small? Whenever I hear the first drops of rain now, I smile. It no longer feels like a nuisance or an inconvenience. Instead, it feels like a quiet invitation to remember who I am, to reconnect with the child inside me, and to hold the hands of those I love a little tighter. If there is one message I hope stays with you from this story, it is this: do not wait for extraordinary events to feel alive. Treasure the simple, unplanned moments that come your way. They are the ones that shape our memories, nourish our relationships, and remind us to live fully in the present. So the next time you are caught in a sudden rain, don't be too quick to hide. Maybe let yourself pause, breathe, and listen. You might find, just as I did, that it carries more than water. It carries perspective, gratitude, and joy. Because in the end, life is not about avoiding the rain. It is about learning to dance in it.